All right, let's talk some baseball. Ted Cahill joining us, national writer, Baseball America. College baseball does start tomorrow, though not for Arkansas. And you got pitchers and catchers reporting, and here it is. We got snow outside. It just feels a little bit weird. Ted, I always love this time of the year. I feel nothing but optimism. I guess most baseball fans do, outside of Pirates fans, which I am one of them. So, hey, here we are. Valentine's Day is come and gone, and we got baseball in the future. You got to be happy about that.
Yeah, absolutely. It's obviously with everyone in a deep freeze around the country, it feels a little strange, but you're right. I mean, if you can't have optimism this time of year, that something's wrong. Something's wrong with your team. Maybe you're the Orioles and you have 0.0% chance of making the playoffs, according to Fangraphs. But this time of year, everyone feels good about their team, and they should, because you can be plenty optimistic and not worry about the warts yet.
I thought that was hilarious how Major League Baseball actually puts out the playoff odds for the Orioles at 0. Rocky 0.1, Rangers 0.8, Pirates 0.4%. I love it.
So you're saying there's a chance for your Pittsburgh Pirates?
Yeah, just the tiniest little chance, right. All right, so let's get into some of this college stuff here. And this weekend that Arkansas has coming up, Ted, I mean, I don't think they've ever faced a first weekend like this before. You get Texas Tech, TCU. And, just the fact that you have three of the best teams out of the SEC playing those three teams, too. Arkansas, Ole Miss, Mississippi State. This has to be the best tournament going on in college baseball this weekend.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, there's nothing like this. There's 6 teams going to Arlington, hopefully, who are ranked in the top 15. It's remarkable. I love the format as an SEC West, Big 12 showdown. I hope that, we can learn an awful lot about these teams, because facing good quality competition like this right out of the chute, I mean, it's, you got to be ready to go, and you got to use, your A arms, your A lineup, like, right away. So I'm very intrigued by it. I love the execution of the field, and, hopefully we're able to see, 9 really good baseball games out of it.
So give me a couple of questions that you're interested in finding out about this Razorback baseball team. And I'm not sure if you'd seen this, but earlier this morning, about an hour and a half ago, Dave Van Horn did release what the weekend rotation is going to be. It's going to have Zebulon Vermillion Saturday, Peyton Paulette Sunday, Lyle Lockhart Monday. That was, a big question that we had. Dave answered it. I wonder just a couple of things that you really are interested in finding out this weekend, perhaps, about the Razorbacks.
Well, I think that rotation is probably numbers like 1 through 5 for Arkansas, and how I'm looking to learn about them, because there are a lot of different ways that this pitching staff, and it goes beyond the rotation, can unfold. There are a lot of good options there. There aren't a lot of, I would say, really experienced options. Vermillion and Bolden, they've been in the program for a long time, but not in those roles. Lyle Lockhart's been in college baseball a long time in a variety of roles, but never at Arkansas. So how does that all come together? How did the newcomers fit in? Lockhart, being one of them, but how do the freshmen fit in there? How do they go about setting up the rotation and the pitching staff overall? Because they could do some very creative things. They could, just turn all those guys into 7-inning starters too, feasibly. So that's absolutely my biggest question about Arkansas, is just what does this pitching staff look like? The lineup, I mean, even after losing Kerstad and Martin, I have less questions about. I want to see if Robert Moore can continue what he started last year, and if Christian Franklin is ready to be kind of the guy, and who else is going to step up around those two, and Matt Goodhart and some of the other experienced guys like Opitz. But really, for me, the pitching staff is like questions 1 through 5 for me.
And in Baseball America's preseason poll, you guys have Arkansas ranked 8th, but also behind two teams in their own division, Ole Miss and Mississippi State. Those teams return the bulk of their starting rotations, and I guess there's just a little more known quantities about the Rebels and Bulldogs' overall pitching staff in Arkansas. Is that why Ole Miss and Mississippi State were ranked ahead of Arkansas?
Yeah, it's a big part of why Arkansas is where it is. It's just general uncertainty about the pitching staff. The Rebels bring back the entire the entirety of their pitching staff effectively. Their whole rotation's back. They were playing really well last year. They have some pieces to replace in the lineup too, but I feel really good about what they return. Mississippi State is breaking in a little bit of a different rotation. They're throwing Will Bednar into the mix. He was in the bullpen a year ago, but their Friday guy Christian McLeod was off to an incredible start last season, and Eric Sarantola was pitching pretty well for them in the rotation as well. And those three guys all have first round upside. So, I just feel like they have a little more certainty on the pitching side, a little more upside on the pitching side than the Hawks do.
Ted Cahill of Baseball America joining us here on Halftime. Ted, a little bit more on Razorback baseball just for a second, and then we'll move around to the SEC and kind of get your thoughts on the SEC as a whole. But when you look at this Razorback team, and up the middle for this team between Casey Opitz, Robert Moore, Christian Franklin, and others, there's probably no better team up the middle than this Razorback team. And when you factor that in with the hitting and fielding that this team has, if this team can figure out the rotation and figure out the pitching rotation for the weekend series and midweek games, is this Razorback team, as it stands right now, in your estimation, a College World Series bound team?
Well, I mean, they certainly have the upside. If you told me that the rotation was going to be as a solid rotation and the bullpen was going to be really good, I probably would tell you that team's probably headed to Omaha. They have. Losing Heston Kjerstad is a significant thing. That affects multiple people in the lineup. It's not just about replacing his production, but the lineup is. I have no doubt that Arkansas is going to hit. Like that's the track record for the Hawks at this point, and I think that when you throw in defensively, getting Opitz back was huge. So there's a lot to like on the position player side for sure.
And when you look all across the SEC, we'll start with the SEC West, and we touched on it a minute ago with Ole Miss, Mississippi State. You throw in LSU as well, and when you look at the SEC preseason standings, all four of those teams are neck and neck with each other between spots 1 through 4, and it's going to be a wild contest in the SEC West this season.
Yeah, absolutely. And, I mean, you can shake those teams up and put them in whatever order you feel like. I think in large respect right now, I mean, we have it the way we have it, but somebody else could look at it and say, well, I want the exact reverse of that, and I would have to say, okay, I see where you're coming from here. It's going to be a dogfight out west, and it's more than just those 4 teams because the 2 teams from Alabama are very good as well. They both have high power Friday night guys, solid lineups, and then A&M is going to pitch as well as they always do, even after losing a guy in the top 5 picks of the draft. So, he's better be ready for it in the SEC West, just like it's going to be a fight every week, just like it has been for the last several years now.
And over in the SEC East, it was an overwhelming favorite with Florida. But, Ted, when I look at it, I mean, I understand why Florida is the favorite, but it seems like, is Vandy getting overlooked just a little bit with Kumar Rocker, or is Florida just that good this year?
I mean, I don't think anyone's overlooking the reigning champs when you have Kumar Rocker. Like, that's really loud. Jack Leiter, another potential first-round pick, projected first-round pick in the rotation behind him, were really good. But no, I mean, it's about Florida being as good as they are. They returned literally every pitcher who threw a pitch for them last year, and they were the number 1 team in the country. They bring back 8 regulars in the lineup, and they added a top 5 recruiting class. Like, I don't know what more you could want out of a team than what Florida's running out there right now in terms of experience and talent. That was probably the easiest choice of any of the spots in the conference, just picking Florida as the number 1 team in the East. But, yeah, I mean, you can't overlook Vanderbilt. The talent is undeniable, and when you have Kumar Rocker leading the rotation, that's something that really can separate you on a Friday night.
And Arkansas doesn't get Vandy this year, but they do wrap up the regular season at home with the Florida Gators. Teddy, let's wrap up the conversation with a thought on just there's an empirical shift in the way that baseball players are being developed around the college age. You can see that in how Major League Baseball is now revamped the minor league system. There are going to be fewer professional players, fewer players drafted every year. I don't think you're going to have a 5-round draft, but it'll certainly be less than the 40 that we were used to. And it feels like, well, let me put it this way. When I first started filling in doing Razorback baseball games on the radio, Dave Van Horn told me, and I was working for minor league baseball teams then, he said, we're a little different here in college. We coach them up here. And it seems to me that with the shift in how Major League Baseball is developing players, they're not necessarily going to be developing the younger players as much. It feels, Ted, and I wonder what you think, that Major League Baseball is almost ceding some of the player development for 18, 19, 20-year-olds to college baseball. Do you sense that?
I mean, I think there is something to that in a perfect world, they look at what the NFL has and they see that college teams are responsible for development of that age group. And that means that, they don't have to deal with it. They get it. And they might complain about, a quarterback not knowing how to read a defense, but they didn't have to deal with it for the last 3 years. So I think in some respect that there is some degree of, like, maybe the college environment is better. Look at all the success stories from college baseball. Look at how fast those guys can move through the minor leagues. But there also is a fair amount of Major League teams have already tried to retool their developmental process. They've dipped into the college ranks more often for coaches. Pitching coach Wes Johnson, certainly an example of that, an extreme example, given that he went straight to the big leagues. But it's becoming more common for college coaches to get hired as minor league coaches. So they're trying to improve their own development, but there is just an acknowledgement that there is a really good thing going on in college baseball, and that they're very good at developing players. And with the decreased opportunities, more players are going to get pushed towards that system and will get developed in college now.
Yeah, well, I think, you can see that firsthand when you come here to Arkansas. If you get a chance, hopefully when the pandemic is done, to see, the indoor facilities that they have at Arkansas. There's no big league team that has that kind of stuff. So I think they have done some seeding of development to college teams. Ted, we got to end it there. We're up against a break. Appreciate your time. Hopefully we can do this again as college baseball really gets going. Thanks.
Absolutely. Happy to do it, guys.
Thank you.
You got it. It's Ted Cahill, national writer, Baseball America, with baseball season starting tomorrow. Yes.
Can't wait.
Hey, if you've got sleep apnea, don't forget, you need to be calling Dr. Bo Sparkman at Family Dental Care of Fort Smith, 479-785-1419. They can help you with a custom dental appliance that gets rid of your CPAP machine. And you hate that CPAP machine. Your wife does too, because she says she can't take the noise anymore. Got to clean it all the time. The thing's just overall uncomfortable. So call Dr. Bo Sparkman at Family Dental Care Fort Smith. Get rid of that CPAP. 479-785-1419. And that is Dr. Bo Sparkman, Family Dental Care Fort Smith. Wrapping up the show, halftime homework comes up next. What is Buster Posey doing?